You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our second half of our show, Ask the Master Auto Technician. Brian Armstead calls every week, and he gives a review on different kind of cars out there, different kind of new cars out there. And we've got a car you've probably never heard about that he's going to give a review on. Brian, tell us about this car that you're going to review today.
Good morning, James.
Good morning,
Anne-Marie. James, I mean, we've been doing this for a couple of years now. We've always had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I come on, I'm in a happy mood, and sometimes I come on, I'm in a sad mood. and when this 2017 Fiat 500 Lounge hatchback pulled up in my driveway, I wasn't in a good mood, to be honest with you.
Kind of small, wasn't it? Kind of a small car.
It's a tiny car, and I'm a big guy, but that wasn't all of it. You know, Fiat has made a re-entry into the U.S., and they actually own the bulk of Chrysler, which is why Chrysler is now called Fiat Chrysler Automobiles.
Right.
And they've had some good things happen and some bad things happen. And the bad things haven't been real bad, but they've just mostly been lack of power, lack of reliability in some regards. But overall, the fun that you remember back in the day when you were driving that X19 or that Fiat 124 Spider,
yep, ma'am.
That part still remained.
Mm.
So when I walked up to this powder blue, Celeste blue is the actual name of it. It's a very light blue color, not a masculine color at all.
Mm-hmm.
When I walked up to this car, I'm like, okay, here I am, Sasquatch, in a non-masculine colored micro car. And I gotta be in this thing for a week and really give it a fair shot.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, what turned into trepidation really kind of turned into a love affair by the end of the week. Yes, I'm too large for the car, and if anybody my size buys the car, you're probably foolish. But it was a fairly comfortable ride.
Okay.
I didn't have enough room for my legs, but I had plenty of room for my head, even with the glass lounge sunroof. It's a full. The sunroof covered more than 3/4 of the roof, lets in a lot of light.
Okay.
This was a 6-speed manual as well. Pardon me, 5-speed manual. So trying to clear out my early morning voice.
I know how that is.
And I was able to shift gears without trouble.
Good.
So even though it's a small car, it has an upright driving position. It's a tall car. The styling is pretty unique. It's very Italian.
Okay.
When I say very Italian, I don't mean in the Ferrari or Lamborghini vein. I mean in the utilitarian vein where it's styled mostly for performance. The wheels sit at each corner of the car.
Okay.
There's no overhang at the rear. I mean, those rear wheels are maybe 6 or 7 inches from that, the back bumper.
Okay.
The front wheels are stretched forward. If you remember Chrysler's, their cab forward design from years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is cab forward and cab rearward. I mean, they stretch these wheels to all corners here. The ride is supple, very comfortable, doesn't beat you up. Most small cars beat the crap out of you. This one does not.
Okay.
It rides very, very smoothly. Rides on 15-inch wheels, which are small, but they have a tall sidewall, which absorbs a lot of the bumps. The manual transmission is really what you need to kind of maximize the power of the 1.4-liter multi-air engine. It can be a little bit of a pokey vehicle unless you get the gearing just right.
Okay.
But when I wanted to move out, even if I was not in sport mode, which changes the calibrations, I was able to get out there pretty good and pretty confidently. You just have to really put your foot in it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to bury the accelerator, run the car up through the revs, take it up to the red line if necessary, and you'll have quick shifts. You can do wide open throttle shifts. You can do a whole lot of different things with this car, and it really, really kind of surprised me because I just wasn't expecting a whole lot. I haven't driven a Fiat in about a year or so, so this is as they continue to evolve here in the United States, James. They continue to really improve the car.
Mm-hmm. Now, what did you see that stood out? I know you've ridden the 124 Sports. I used to have several of them just to keep one of them running. I had to have 4 of them for parts to keep them running. I mean, but this is years ago. Fiat, we all had little, fix it again, Tony, fix it again tomorrow, whatever. But
Fix it all the time.
Fix it all the time. I love Fiat. As a matter of fact, that's how I got into this industry. No one would work on Fiats back in the 70s at the shop I worked on, and that's the first cars I worked on. I worked on Fiat 124 Spiders and X19s because all the old mechanics said, I ain't working on them foreign cars, and I loved them.
Right.
I thought they're neat cars. They were ahead of their time as far as overhead cams. They were ahead of their time as far as handling and suspension, I thought. But they've come a long way since then, have they not?
That's my point. They really have come a long way. They're cute cars. I mean, they have the little bug-eye design. They're great city cars. They're great commuter cars. If you live in Washington D.C. and you if you work in Washington D.C. and you live out in one of the suburbs, this thing gets 38 miles a gallon on the highway.
Ooh,
it comes in. The lounge comes in at 18,495, but the base Fiat 500 comes in at 14,995.
Wow!
And if you go to their lineup of all of their vehicles, you can get the Fiat 500X, which is a crossover, starting at 19,995. The Fiat 124 Spider, which they've reprised the name, but it basically is a Mazda Miata with sexier bodywork than a Mazda Miata, to be quite frank with you.
So Mazda and Fiat went together on this one?
Yes.
Okay.
It's got all the Mazda mechanicals with the Fiat body.
Okay.
It's a heck of a nice car.
All right.
That starts at 24,995. And you've got the big boy in the bunch, the Fiat 500L. It's kind of a stretched Fiat 500. It's got a little more power, a lot more room. 29,995. And then you have the Abarth vehicles, which are the performance vehicles. Abarth is a noted Italian tuner. They've teamed with Fiat to produce some really kind of funky cars. I mean, the Fiat 500 Abarth is really, it's got a snarly exhaust. It's got really quick acceleration for a four-cylinder car. It's a lot of fun to drive. Blackout trim, red brake calipers, red mirrors on a black car.
Wow.
Just a lot of really cool features. So Fiat, hey, they're coming back. The Fiat 500X is a top safety pick
Okay.
with the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Here's the only drawback with Fiat and with Kias and with Hyundais and cars of this ilk.
All right.
When you buy them to keep them for a while.
Okay.
Because if you buy this car and you think you're gonna buy it instead of lease it, and drive it for a couple of years and then be able to get out of it without being upside down, you're wrong.
Okay.
If you buy a Fiat 500 or if you buy a Kia Accent or a Hyundai Kia Rio or a Hyundai Accent, lease the car or get gap insurance. Get gap insurance either way. But lease the car, or if you buy the car, definitely get gap insurance because you will be upside down. They don't hold their value well.
Okay.
Very small cars and very large luxury cars just don't hold their value. The same happens at the other end of the spectrum with the S-Class, the BMW 7 Series, the Audi A8. You better get some gap insurance, or you'll be looking at you could be looking at a $20,000 or $30,000 loss.
Woo! I had no idea.
To sell the car in a couple. Yeah.
Had no idea. What is gap insurance? I've never heard of that. What is that for if you have a lease and a car is worth less than what it turned in as? Is that what that's for?
Let's say you. Okay. Perfect example is yesterday I purchased a 2009 Mercedes-Benz SL63 AMG. Very exotic car.
Right.
Very expensive to repair, but just a sweet automobile. I'll send you a picture a little bit later today. I paid $37,000 for the car. If I go for a couple of months and have an accident, the car's totaled or the car's stolen, and the insurance company determines that my car is worth $31,000, well, I've got to come up with that $6,000 difference from what I financed. And I didn't finance the whole 37, but I'm just using this as an example. With what I financed and what's owed, what's owed on the car.
I see that.
So if I owe $36,000 and the car is valued at $30,000, I've got to pay that $6,000 difference. So gap insurance covers that gap between what the car is actually worth and how much you owe on the car.
Okay, can they get that from their regular insurance company, a car insurer? Do they talk to their insurance about that?
No. You have to buy that from whoever you finance your vehicle with.
That's what I want to know, because I've never leased a vehicle. I didn't know anything about
No,
it.
you can buy. I'm not leasing this Benz.
Okay.
I bought it,
Okay.
and for $399, I was able to get the gap insurance
Okay.
for the length of the term.
That's very reasonable then. That really is.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's very reasonable.
Heaven forbid something happens. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not out $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000.
Absolutely. That's good. So that's something I did not know they even offered gap insurance. What were you going to say, Anna Marie?
Well, we have a customer that could have benefited from that because she did buy a car, and the insurance company.
So basically, folks, at the lower end of the spectrum, Fiat, you want to lease the car. Now, the top 500. Here's an example for a special that Fiat's running right now. The 500X Pop, which is a kind of a crossover utility with some cool features. Let's call them Pop. It's like they call this one Lounge. $229 a month for 48 months. $34.99 due at lease signing. No security deposit required. So you walk in there for a check for $34.99, and you say, "Hey, I want gap insurance also." And then you walk out with a Fiat 500X for $229 a month.
Wow.
4 years later,
yeah,
you hand them the keys, and you figure out what you're going to do next. So you're going to buy another Fiat, or you're going to buy the car outright for what the residual value is of the car, or are you just going to walk away from the car?
Mm-hmm.
So, Fiat has done some really cool things, James, over the years. I wanted to hate this Fiat 500 Lounge. I wanted to. It had all the hallmarks of a car that I was just going to curse for 7 days. Fiat, I got to tell you, you're doing good things. The Fiat 500 Lounge was a lot of fun to drive.
Good.
No, it's not going to break world speed records. No, it's not the largest car, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
if you want a small car that's going to be reliable, has a great warranty, 38 miles to gallon on the highway, fuel economy, a lot of safety features. I buy my cars based on safety.
Yeah.
Then folks, then you can't do wrong with this lounge. Total price was $21,725. Had a bunch of options: ivory seats, power sunroof, navigation. The ivory seats and the ivory steering wheel is just really a cool command driving position. It just big fat steering wheel, a lot of fun to drive.
Well, would you compare this Fiat to any other European cars like BMW or any other?
Oh no.
Okay,
No, not even close. Not even close.
That's what I want to make sure in case someone asks me, because I know Fiat was always different than those, and I want to make sure they still are in that way. But they sound like a fun little car to drive.
Now they do have some Fiat, like the Fiat 124. You can compare that to a BMW 2 Series convertible, for example.
All right.
It's a lot of fun to drive.
It sounds like
Fiat.com, FiatUSA.com for more details. And again, Fiat Chrysler, they're still kind of sorting out how they're going to market things in the U.S. But overall, I think they've got a good stroke here with the 2017 Fiat 500 Lounge. No, don't expect any major changes for the 2018 model year. They're pretty much carryover as is.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it on the streets down here. I really haven't seen too many of them, but I'm sure I'm looking forward to seeing it. Brian, thank you so much. We got to go. We're against the clock. I'll talk to you again next week, and I'll put this on.
Yes, indeed.
All right, thank you so much. All right, bye-bye, everybody.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guarantee.